for School Board District 4. It's nice to see our candidates here. Thank you very much for coming. The purpose of tonight's event is to get to know these candidates. We have been, I'll say, blessed by having a representative on the school board from this district, Kelly Barrera, for the last 12 years. And she chose not to run, which means we have 3 new candidates that at least are unknown to me, largely, and perhaps to many of us. So we're all interested in learning more about these 3 candidates. These are not easy times for particularly public education in the state of Florida. So whoever represents our district has important work to do for our children and for all of us. Our moderator tonight is Dr. Sean Frieder. He's Associate Professor of Political Science. And if you want to know anything about surveys, he's the director of the Public Opinion Research Lab at the University of North Florida. So he does a lot of important work that occasionally turns up on the evening news, with Sean included. Before we begin, we've asked William Lampley, representing the Boy Scouts of America, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. William, if you will, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. And now, Professor Frieder, if you will, the forum is yours.
Thanks again to everyone in attendance and for our 3 candidates for showing up on stage here. Before we get to the rules, we wanted to remind you that this is a nonpartisan election, and one thing that means is that in this upcoming primary, if one candidate gets 50% of the vote straight away, they win the seat outright. If no one does, if no one clears 50%, the top 2 vote-getting candidates will move on to a runoff in the November election. And then with that, we'll talk about the rules. Our candidates have been placed together in alphabetical order from left to right. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to respond to a given question. And our timekeeper up front here with the sign will signal when you have 30 seconds and then tell you with the red side of the sign to stop when you have no time left. At the end of your time, I will move on to the next candidate. If you go over your time, I may interrupt you to move on to the next candidate, but we'll usually let you finish your sentence. All candidates will have an opportunity to respond to all questions, and we will rotate the order of who answers first. Candidates may stand or sit during the responses as they like. We ask you to stick entirely to your position on the issues and refrain from making personal attacks on other candidates. The exclusive purpose of this forum, not debate, is to give you a chance to voice your position on key issues, and so your responses should stick to those ideas and not focus on your opponents. Those in violation once will lose their opportunity to answer the next question, and if in violation once more, may be asked to leave the forum. For the audience, in the interest of making sure we get to hear from all the candidates, please refrain from making noise, positive or negative, during or after our candidates' responses. Please hold all applause until the beginning of the evening. And we'll go ahead and go into the opening question. A few weeks ago, the Florida Department of Education released its annual school evaluations, and once again, St. Johns County is number 1 in the state, with 87% of county schools earning an A rating. Keeping this in mind, why are you seeking election to the St. Johns County School Board, and in particular, what experience or qualifications make you the best candidate for this position? We will start over here to my left with Mr. Jonason.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me? Yeah, okay, good. Yeah. Thank you everyone for being here tonight. I really appreciate it. First thing, we do have a very successful school here, but there's been a few gaps lately. And so one of the reasons I'm running is to assure the academic success of the school district. We've always been in like 1 or 2 in the 67 counties, but as of recently, we just dropped 17 in our math score. So there's some areas that we need to improve on. So I want to be one who can lead that charge and make sure that we get back to the high standards that we had before. I think that school board responsibility is safety for our kids. I want to make sure I pursue that. And I also want to make sure that we're spending our tax dollars appropriately for all the taxpayers and the parents. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm running.
Go ahead.
Can you hear? We good? Tammy McClafferty. Why I'm running, let's start with that first and then talk about the district. Education is what I'm about. It's my deepest passion. I have been a teacher, a principal, a professor at the university, my doctorate's in education. We've opened schools, operated them, managed budgets, fought legislation for our school. This is what we've done. This is what I've spent my life doing. My youngest kid, all three of my kids came through this district. My youngest one just graduated. And so we had an opportunity, my husband and I, to sit back and say, how can I continue to serve this community with the gifts and ability God gave me? And this seat came open. I would have never done this if Kelly would have decided not to run. She's a dear friend, and I would have never done that because she's been amazing. But when the seat came open, we felt that it was my calling to do this. The school district is number one. It did dip a little, it came back up when we ran some numbers. But there is still work to be done. No doubt, our community has seen growth, we have seen challenges, we have seen changes that our current school board has done a great job maintaining. But we need people on this board who understand education and can go in on day one and begin to work to keep our schools what they are and how they have been, and to continue growing the programs that we have. We have amazing programs. We've done a great job. We live in the greatest county, in the greatest state, in the greatest country in the world. We need somebody in there who is going to maintain that. We have time? That's kind of fun.
Hi all, my name is Jillian Tozer. I will be honest with you, I never thought I would run for political office. I am a business owner. I'm active, I'm on the board of our PTO, I'm on our school advisory committee, our library advisory committee. I'm also a business partner at our school. I watched for a few months this spring as our principal, in tears, announced she was gonna have to lay off 9 wonderful teachers. And I thought to myself, okay, what can I do that I'm not already doing? How can I support in a different way? This was the beginning of May. I said, okay, we're gonna try and run. I had 2 weeks to get all of my petitions in. I needed 490 and we got 700. Once we filed to run, I currently have a 3rd and a 5th grader in our schools at Valley Ridge Academy. I was there this morning helping serve breakfast, a welcome back breakfast for our teachers. Last night I was helping hand out popsicles at the park for our kindergartners. I am active in our schools pretty much every week, if not every day. I know what it takes, what our teachers want. I was endorsed by the Teachers Union, the St. John's Education Association. I have the support of the administration, I have the support of our teachers, and I believe I am the most active and most caring for our schools.
All right, thank you all. Our next question is going to be on the topic of vouchers, and for this question, we'll start with Mrs. McClafferty. Florida's school voucher program allows families to take money previously allocated exclusively for public schools and instead use it to fund their children's education through private schools, charter schools, homeschooling, and more at the rate of about $7,500 per student. This program has increased parents' choices regarding how to best educate their children, but has also created new challenges for public schools. According to Superintendent Dr. Brendan Asplin, St. Johns County schools face a $23 million shortfall due to the transfer of public school funds to private charter and home schools. This may lead to increased student-to-teacher ratios or school closures. What is your position on the Florida voucher system, and how would you address these funding challenges for our public schools?
A lot in one question. School choice is an amazing opportunity that we need to support. Every parent should have the choice to go to whatever school they want to go to. However, the way that we have dispersed the money for the vouchers, the way we've not had enough oversight to these vouchers, have negatively impacted the bottom line at our public schools. And so there has to be some very hard, very difficult conversations that happen in Tallahassee about these vouchers. because we want people to go to the school that they want to go to. If they want to homeschool, if they want to go to a private school, they should have that choice to go. However, the way that the money is currently being distributed is not in the benefit of everybody. We've got wait lists at private schools, we're missing money at the public schools. The expectations are not the same. So what's required of the public school with that voucher money that we get per student is not the same as what's expected in a homeschool or a private school. That's not fair. So that money needs to either be distributed more evenly, it needs to be based different incomes. There are lots of conversations currently happening in Tallahassee about these vouchers. And so we have got to find a way to figure out how to get these vouchers to be better distributed between homeschool, charter school, private schools, and public schools. Ways we can do that within our district, we are gonna have to make some cuts if these vouchers are not distributed differently. So we're gonna have to take a long, hard look at our budget and make some tough cuts. But there are also ways that we can generate revenue within our district, and we need to be creative and think outside the box on ways that we can generate revenue within our district.
Yes, school choice is not up for debate. That is the law right now. I believe if institutions, if homeschooling parents, if private schools, charter schools are taking public dollars, we should have a public quality guarantee. It's fiscally responsible to know where those dollars are going, and that those schools and institutions face the same accreditations and testing that our public schools do. We need to keep our public dollars in our public schools, and we, as a fiscally responsible adult, we need to make sure that we know where those dollars are going. I have done advocacy work in Harrisburg, and I plan to do advocacy work in Tallahassee to make sure that our public schools are getting the same responsibilities that our private schools are. I do think we need to look and see what we can do to attract students, increasing our VPK program in our public schools. In our local school, we just had 2 new classes added. I think once we get students into our public schools, they're gonna see how wonderful they are, and students aren't gonna leave. Many of the students who have filed for the voucher program are students that never existed in our public schools. So they're students that never existed and are pulling public dollars out. I also think we need to increase our AP, IB, and dual enrollment programs at the high school level. These are programs that the private schools cannot compete with. Thank you.
Okay, first of all, I thought I was going to get to introduce myself, so let me start with that real quickly. My name is Leif Jonas, and I've got 3 children, one who's starting school at UNF in a couple weeks, so I'm excited about that. My fiance's had 3 children go through the public school system, and so I get a lot of knowledge from her on that. I was a Booster Club president for 2 terms when I was up in Georgia for my kids up there. The reason why I got into this was my parents always told me to give back. My mom was a school teacher. My father was in the military, a couple Purple Hearts and a Bronze Star. And my mom really pushed me to do this job my whole life, really, to do something and give back patriotically. And so I filed for my paperwork on, I think it was January 30th. And then my mom passed away 13 days later. And so it was, kind of heartfelt that I had to kind of go through this for her. And her being a teacher, I really found out how impactful teachers are, because I got a box of her stuff afterwards. And the letters from her students were tear-jerking, how much, she changed their life. So I understand how important teachers are to the students. Another reason I got involved was because of COVID. When COVID happened, I'd be watching TV and seeing parents go up to school boards and try and, express their opinion on what they wanted their kids to do for masking, what other issue, and parents were just shut down. So that's the reason why I wanted to get involved, to represent the parents, that their children would be heard. In regards to the vouchers, I definitely believe in school choice also. Lots of good reasons for that. I definitely think that we're right, it's not equitable. Our teachers go through certification, the charters don't have to do that. I don't think that that's equitable. I think there should be some kind of, balance there. We have to compete now. That's why I want to be up here as a businessman, because now we have to compete against these other entities. I think we can do it through strong academics, we can do it through safety, no more bullying in school, we gotta stop that, make sure the kids are comfortable in the classroom so they can learn. I want to expand offerings, like you said, the AP courses, all the other educational things we can do. And big thing I really want to do is vocational training, get the trades in front of the schools, and I think we can compete the best when we provide that opportunity for kids. Thank you.